Okay, so kicking off our 1400 puzzles is a rook endgame, kind of a rook endgame, but not really a rook endgame because we're going this way. So, I mean, you just go here. You just gotta block the rook from the. Okay, that was. You gotta know which way you're going, and you just gotta make sure that you block the rook from. I mean, yeah, that was weird. That was weird. That was not a good puzzle. Okay, let's apply checks, captures, attacks all the same. So we have queen f2 and bishop f2. So queen f2 looks more devastating because, you know, you get the queen in there. But then you need to ask yourself, what's next? Queen goes there, king goes there. That's not mate because the rook covers. So this one is actually bishop takes f2. This one is actually bishop f2 because you're not going to win material. Sorry, you're not mating. You're winning material. So it's bishop f2. Check. And now you need to play something called an in-between move. An in-between move. So instead of taking on e1, because then you would, again, not get recaptured, you would just lose your queen. You need to take the queen first, in between taking the rook. Throw in the capture of the queen, they will take the queen back, and then you will take the rook. This happens sometimes. The check is the most forcing move in chess. And then you take the queen, and then you take the rook. Now you're up material. 1700 level puzzle, right? Zwischenzug. Okay. But, oh, we're going to have an in-between move here as well. This is very, very nice. Okay, so we're going to take the bishop because it's free. And then, well, this was not the challenge. I mean, now we just move the king. This was a terrible follow-up move. If the rook had taken here, we do not recapture the rook because then we lose our knight. Rook e2, oops. Rook e2, in-between move. Knight c4, check. It is a move that is a more forcing nature than the other move. You give a check, the king moves, then you take the rook, and you're up a knight. That is what an in-between move is. And, okay, he gave us this stupid check. So, why is the theme rook on the 7th? Do you guys see this theme? Oh, you don't see it on your screen. Okay. Okay, what if I just move my... Sorry, I'm a little bit confused about this puzzle. What does this puzzle want from me? What if I sacrifice the queen? They take. I take. They have to block... Is that it? Is that a 2 rooks and 6 pawns versus queen and 3 pawns? So the alternative is queen g6, but queen g6 is wrong. Alright, queen g6 is incorrect, because after queen g6, they recapture. You play rook f8 check. They play bishop e8, but now the queen on g6 guards the bishop. All of you people saying take the knight, finish your calculation. You know? Why wouldn't you just take the knight? Excuse me, why wouldn't you just take the rook? It's the same exact position. Taking the knight is just far too fancy. So you just go here, I think, and you win all the material. So now, this endgame is considered winning because you have so many extra pawns. That's why it's winning. But if your opponent had 3 pawns on the king side, it would not be a win. So this way you just pick up 3 pieces for the queen. You would need to obviously win this position, but that's why this is winning. Alright, oh, this one's very tough. This is officially the hardest one that we've done. This is an even deeper layer. This is not a check, this is not a capture, and this is a setup to an attacking move. A setup to an attacking move. This puzzle is very difficult. And I see people in my stream already shouting out the answer. I know the answer. And here's how I'll have you think about this as well. When you think about attacks, right? When you think about that third category, checks, captures, you go to attacks. Look at what you can attack. The queen! That queen for white is very precariously placed. It's got no escape squares. So you can play bishop f8 to trap the queen. If you play rook e8. And the way you evaluate if rook e8 is a good move is if your so let me explain this right now. The way you would solve this is you would look at rook e8 as a slow move, and you would go, does my opponent have a check, capture, or attack? Does my opponent have a check, a capture, or an attack when I play rook e8 that stops me from doing what I want? And the answer is no. They can take, but that does not stop bishop f8. So bishop f8 just traps the queen, and again, here, you do not recapture because then the queen escapes. You take the queen, and you pick up material. That's why this was an 1860 level puzzle. Let's keep it rolling. Okay. This one, we can apply the same methodology that we always have. Checks, captures, and attacks. Knight e7, knight f6 are the only checks. They're not good. But you can keep knight e7 in mind, because if you look at this capture, you might not, you might not like it. But this is an attraction puzzle. You attract the queen to the c8 square, and then your next move would be knight to e7 with a fork of these pieces. And that one is easy. We're probably going to gain some points here. Yeah, it's only a 1200 level puzzle, though. Alright. So what is going on here? Our opponent is pushing the pawn. We're not up any material. We have no checks. The only captures that we have are taking this and taking this, both of which are wrong, which means that it is most likely an attack. And the only attacking move that I see is the backwards knight move, which forks the rooks. And also conveniently covers the promotion square. So what might happen is knight here, check, we have to take, then they promote, but then we take. Excuse me, then we take. So this one's kind of easy. It's a backwards knight move. And here you might freak out. You might go, I can't take because they promote. Is that true? The answer is no, it's not true. Because knight e5 is a check. That's what you have to notice, otherwise you freak out here. But it's a puzzle for a reason. And now you have to find the best move. What is the best move here? This is the final part. Do you go back to cover the promotion? You actually probably can. Or do you go knight d3? Very tough one. Do you go knight d3 or here? I'm thinking about this. I think you actually can go back. But maybe not. No, I think you have to go to d3. I think you have to go to d3. This is actually pretty tricky, I'm not gonna lie. So I think the idea is that if you go back, they take, obviously, because they want to promote. You move your bishop. And they can go here. And if knight d3 and they play this move to attack, you play bishop b2, they take, and then you get out in front. Still a very tricky position. I think you have to go knight d3, and that's right. But that final move was very tricky. So rook d1, you need to chuck your knight by playing bishop b2. They're going to take the knight, but since you're up a bishop, you can play rook e1 or c4 check, and then rook e1, and I think you have to go here. This is very tough, though. So, tricky puzzle here. Definitely not an easy one. Alright, I see a lot of passed pawns. Check. King moves. Check. King takes the pawn. Knight check. Takes this pawn. Knight here. We win. We solved it. Push pawn check. And what you would be against here is pushing this pawn, because you would see that you're losing this, and you might not want to play it. But it's g6. Fork the knight. And then this is winning, because in this position... Oh, if knight takes f7, you just have two passed pawns that he can't stop. This is the final move of the puzzle. What do you have to play here? Do you play knight e6? And then if takes, you have a fork? What do you play? No, you block. The knight sacrifices itself for the promotion. And now you have to promote to the right piece. Bishop, obviously. Just kidding. What? I can't make a queen? Alright, nice. So the knight gets in the way. And there you go. And then you would have to win this endgame by taking all this stuff. Tough one, but nothing that you can't solve. Alright. Checks, captures, attacks. Check. Rook takes. Rook takes. Back rank mate. We solved it. Congratulations. That wasn't difficult. The hardest part about this puzzle is the X-ray defense, seeing that the rook guards the queen through the rook. Alright? Because you need to look at the most forcing moves first. The most forcing moves are the checks. You have 3 of them. Right? So you're down a bishop. I mean, put it this way. If you're down a bishop, you either need to win about 6 points of material, or you need to play queen c1 and mate the guy. That's what you have to do. That's simply, you know, that's simply the truth of the matter. Alright, let's keep it rolling. Ah, this looks like something from our openings courses. This is called the Greek gift sacrifice. Bishop h7. Only possible when there is no knight covering this square. The Greek god sacrifice, the Greek god X sacrifice, check, and the queen comes to h5. Of course, there is some resistance your opponent can put up like this, but h4, h5 is coming, and yeah. Alright. The first thing I see is a check. That forces the king to the back rank, followed by rook c1. We solved it. There is only one tricky thing here. Rook c1 there, check, here, and then check back. That's how we... Wait, yeah. So check, and anytime a rook and a queen are checking a rook like this and it's shielding the king, there's little sidestep checks where you utilize the pin, and the king comes back, and then the rook comes back, and we are covering every single square by the enemy king. Alright? Again, you're down a bishop, so you need to deliver either a mate or win back a ton of material. So that's how you have to approach these positions. Check, but then the queen just takes, and I don't have a follow-up check. Check, queen just takes. I don't have any captures, so it must be an attacking move. Since it's an attacking move, what is an attacking move? We start with the queen. Is there any attack on the queen? No, we start with the rooks. After that, queen g7. Attacking the rook and attacking the knight. Easy peasy, right? See? There's queen g7. And now we don't take this. Don't auto recapture. Take the rook. Check. Take the queen. Then you will take the knight and you pick up material. Queen g7, okay? Oh, this one's a little tricky. Because this is some weird endgame. So black is here. We're playing black. We're going this way. We are checked. Huh. So how do we solve... Oh my god, what is this puzzle? I think this is the puzzle. I think we take, and then he's going to try to promote, and we're going to try to mate. So we have to play this to stay, and now I think it's push, here, push, queen, check. He has to sacrifice the rook, and we mate the guy. Now, how did I come up with this? Well, the fact that the king has no legal moves is a big hint. Alright? I think that's really the best way to approach this position, is the king has no legal moves, and the guy's about to promote, and we need to win, so it's got to do something with the king. Because you're not going to win the rook. Alright? And you're not going to stop the pawn. So you need to push, and mate the guy. It's a very hard puzzle, because what you've done here is you've weaved a mating net around the enemy king. No, you do not have to mate with the bishop. That's the whole reason the rook is covering. So that is why you need the pawn to walk forward, and then... Yeah, so there you go. Alright, this one we're... What's going on? So we are down 2 pawns. It looks like we have a check, but we actually don't. We can't take anything, but I think in this position we do have one very useful attacking move. Do you guys see it? You guys see the attacking move? Everybody does see it. Nice. Queen c3. And well, bishop g6 would be nice. Unfortunately, the queen is just going to take the bishop. And you don't want to play this, because when you play queen bishop here, you're like, oh, he's going to move away from this square. No, he's not. Why is he going to do that? He's just going to go queen here. So it's queen c3 with a little x-ray on these 2 pieces, and it's very difficult to defend. he's got to play something like rook e1, and I'm not sure that fully defends everything. So it's probably just this. Okay, and now we just pick up the knight. Oh, wait. Let's be careful. Because there is a check. You always need to look for the checks. King will go here, but it looks like we're safe. Because if queen takes, let's not forget that we have... Yeah, so king goes here, and he cannot take because we have an eye. And that was the hardest puzzle that we've solved yet, 1938. Alright, let's make this the last one. Knight g5, he's got 2 attacks on us. We're gonna look for the check, or this check first. Let's start with bishop c4. Bishop c4, he's gotta move his king to the h-file, and don't we just win the queen then? And if bishop here, the rook blocks, we just take the rook. And we got out of the danger, and then probably rook g1 is coming anyway. So it's, I mean, it's obviously bishop c4. Okay, he just gives us the queen. Okay, he just gives us the queen. Looks like we don't have anything here. We need to take the... I wish I could take the rook, maintaining the pin on the queen. Unfortunately, that is an illegal move because then I would lose my king. But I would love it if I could take this, and he can't take me back because of the pin. Unfortunately, that's not how chess works. So, we have to take the queen. We gotta solve one more puzzle, because we're not 1600 yet. Okay, this one's nice. Is queen h5 force mate? Checks, captures, attacks. Is queen h5 force mate? Appreciate all the subs, by the way, guys. Very much appreciated. It's not mate. Because this knight is gonna come here, attack you, and defend. So what do? You gotta take the knight first. Very simple. You take the knight, then you play queen h5. Then you mate. Not a difficult puzzle. Not a difficult puzzle. So you gotta get rid of the knight, and then it's just force mate. This is a very common checkmate pattern. You want to play queen h5, and basically here mate is unstoppable. And we cross 1600. A lot of the same themes that we saw in the 12 to 1400 rated puzzles, but these were a little bit more nuanced. There was more setup puzzles, and there was more puzzles that had, you know, these kind of veiled attacks. So trying to incorporate this into your tactics. We're gonna keep climbing, though. Let's go 1600 plus now.